Imagine waking up thousands of years before farms, supermarkets, or even villages existed. Every meal had to be found, hunted, gathered, or caught from nature. But what exactly did ancient people eat before farming changed human history? The answer may surprise you. Their diet was incredibly diverse and depended entirely on the environment around them. People living near rivers ate differently from those living in forests or deserts. One important source of food was wild animals. Hunting provided valuable meat and fat. A single successful hunt could feed an entire group for days. Meat was often roasted, smoked, or dried for later use. In colder regions, people hunted giant animals like mammoths and bison. These dangerous hunts required teamwork and planning, but ancient diets were not based on meat alone. Wild fruits were a major source of nutrition. Depending on the season, people gathered berries, figs, and other fruits. These foods provided natural sugars and energy. Roots and tubers were another important food source. Many underground plants were rich in carbohydrates. Some were eaten raw, while others were cooked. Together, they formed an important part of daily meals. Nuts were also highly valued. They were rich in healthy fats and protein. Unlike fruits, nuts could often be stored for long periods. This made them especially useful during difficult seasons. For people living near water, fish became a major food source. Fish were easier to catch than large animals in many regions. They provided valuable protein and nutrients. Coastal communities also collected shellfish and crabs. Archaeologists still find huge shell heaps left behind. These foods helped many groups survive for thousands of years. One of the sweetest foods available in the ancient world was honey. Finding honey was difficult and often dangerous. People developed clever methods to collect it safely. Honey provided a rare source of concentrated energy. For many ancient people, it was a special treat. Another food source may sound unusual to us today. Many groups regularly ate insects. Insects were rich in protein and easy to gather. Some were eaten raw while others were cooked. They were simply another part of everyday life. Wild bird eggs were another valuable source of nutrition. Finding them required patience and observation. Eggs supplied protein, fats, and important nutrients. Whenever they could find them, eggs were highly valued. Ancient people also searched for edible mushrooms, but this required knowledge and experience. Choosing the wrong mushroom could be deadly. Those who understood nature gained an important food source. Food availability changed throughout the year. Spring brought new plants, eggs, and young animals. Summer offered an abundance of fruits and berries. Autumn was the season for collecting nuts and storing food. Winter was often the hardest time of year. People relied on stored foods and successful hunts to survive. So a failed hunt during winter could become a serious problem. This is why cooperation was so important. Everyone played a role in finding food. The success of the group depended on many different skills. Contrary to popular belief, many hunter-gatherers ate a surprisingly varied diet. And in many ways, their food was far more natural than ours today. But finding food was not always easy. Sometimes game animals became scarce. Plants and fruits could also disappear for months. During these difficult periods, survival became a daily challenge. Experience and knowledge often meant the difference between life and death. Many groups survived by following migrating animals. These migrations acted like moving food supplies. People often traveled long distances in search of resources. Unlike farmers, most ancient hunter-gatherers were constantly on the move. Mobility was one of their greatest survival advantages. They also learned exactly where useful foods could be found. Their knowledge of nature was extraordinary. This knowledge was passed from generation to generation. People had to know which foods were safe and which were deadly. Mistakes could have serious consequences. Life became even harder during the Ice Age. Temperatures were often far colder than today. People depended heavily on large animals for survival. A successful mammoth hunt could provide enormous amounts of food. Nearly every part of the animal was used. People developed methods to preserve food for later. Smoking meat helped it last much longer. Fish and other foods could also be dried and stored. These techniques improved survival during difficult seasons. Over time, people began noticing something interesting. Seeds that fell to the ground sometimes grew into new plants. This simple observation would eventually change the world. Some groups started experimenting with planting seeds. For the first time, humans were beginning to control food production. A revolution was beginning, and it would transform human life forever. Around 12,000 years ago, some human groups began a new way of finding food. Instead of searching for food, they started growing it. These early experiments slowly developed into farming. For the first time, food could be produced in one place. This changed the human diet forever. Grains became one of humanity's most important food sources. These grains could be stored for long periods. They could also be turned into new foods like bread. As farming expanded, people settled down.